Welcome back to Sports Reel. With many players becoming legendary during their NFL careers, some were actually so dominant that they forced the league to change the rules. So in today's video, we'll be going over NFL players that forced rule changes. But before we get into that, be sure to subscribe to the channel and comment down below saying I subscribed. We appreciate everyone watching our videos. With Roy Williams being one of the hardest hitting players in NFL history, his actions were so devastating on the field that he forced the NFL to change the rules. Barely reaching 6 feet tall, he had to learn at a young age how to utilize the skills that he was given. His style was called a rough and dirty way of play and continued out in college, and he even stuck with him in the NFL. The problem was the fact that in one season Williams had caused 4 severe injuries, which would make the league take action and create the Roy Williams rule. After being drafted by the Cowboys in 2002, he made an instant impact in his career, but in 2004 he was grabbing the attention from NFL owners everywhere for his rough style of play, and Williams was known for using the horse collar tackle. The horse collar tackle is when a defensive player grabs inside the shoulder, pulling him down from behind. And by the end of 2004, there were 6 serious injuries due to the horse collar tackle, and Williams was responsible for a majority of them. The most significant was wide receiver Terrell Owens, which caused him to miss the last 2 games of the season in 2 playoff games. NFL owners voted 27-5 to officially ban the horse collar tackle. Now any player caught using the tackle gets a 15-yard penalty and the possibility of getting fined. Emmitt Smith, arguably the best running back of all time, was so dominant and scored so many touchdowns in his own way that he caused the rule change. Emmitt has always shown his passion on the field, especially when he scores, so former Dallas Cowboy running back was known for always taking his helmet off after he scored a touchdown, and usually this wasn't seen as a problem, but when the rules changed in 1997, it affected everyone in the 1997 season. The NFL initiated the new Emmitt Smith rule, where players aren't allowed to remove their helmets while on the football field. Some people didn't understand the rule change, and he talked about why he would remove his helmet by saying, "I had just come off a serious injury, and all I read about was how I supposedly lost a step, that I was on the downside of my career. I went 60 yards off my first carry and my hamstring didn't pull. I was excited." This is something Smith would have to get used to, because the first year this rule came into the league, he would receive various penalties for removing his helmet. Fast forward in the time, former Cowboys wide receiver Dez Bryant would take his helmet off and argue with an official during the game. Not only would Bryant receive an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, he would take his team out of field goal range and nearly lost the game. After the game, Bryant went on to say, "I didn't know. Whenever he threw the flag, I was shocked. It was a lesson learned. Don't take off your helmet." Speaking about Dez Bryant, he went down as one of the best receivers in Cowboys history, but a controversial catch in a playoff game would end up changing receiving rules forever. The Dallas Cowboys have always been a part of some of the biggest moments in NFL history, but in 2014, they were a part of one of the most controversial calls in NFL history. They were playing the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field in the divisional round of the playoffs. On the last drive, Dez made an unbelievable catch that would be ruled incomplete, and the controversy was in the media everywhere. It turns out the officials made a bad call, creating the Dez Bryant rule. The refs came to the conclusion that Dez Bryant didn't maintain the ball while going down, and the Cowboys ended up losing the game and missing an opportunity to go to the NFC Championship. Dez said to the reporters, "Come on man, I think it was a catch, but they took it away. I wasn't off balance, I was trying to stretch for it and get in the end zone." As a result of what happened, questions started to circulate about what is and what isn't a catch in the NFL. According to a Fox Sports analyst, the player is considered to be going down to the ground if he does not remain upright long enough to demonstrate that he is clearly a runner. If a player goes to the ground in the act of catching a pass or without contact by an opponent, he must maintain control of the ball until after the initial contact with the ground. And if he loses control of the ball and the ball touches the ground before he regains control, the pass is incomplete. But if he regains control prior to the ball touching the ground, the pass is complete. So as confusing as it sounds, Dez Bryant made that rule change. And on that note, that wraps up today's video on NFL players that forced rule changes. Comment down below your thoughts. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new and drop a like.